Good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening. Back at it again with the SharinGANG. It's your boy PT64, and with me,
Clockwork Nerd.
That guy.
And welcome back, guys, for a very special guest, first of all. My squeaky stool. So we'll not worry about that, right? We're in a very special episode. We're going to be talking about Demon Slayer Mugen Train today.
Yes.
We went to see it very recently, and it was outstanding. Exactly what we hoped it was going to be, and we are just basically going to be nerding the out over that today. That's what today is about. I think we'll start with just straight off the bat, when the film started, just immediately, like after being away from Demon Slayer for so long, it had been so long ago that I personally watched the first season. So long ago since I'd read all the way through the manga. It was back at the beginning of the year. So I already knew. Me and that guy both already knew. It was nice and fresh for Clockwork. But we already knew what was going to happen.
Been doing my best to keep it spoiler free.
You did really
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we will, of course, say right now on that point, this is going to be spoilerific, right? So if you haven't seen Mugen Train, get it watched, right?
But only after you've watched season 1. Don't just watch season 1. Make sure you've done that, and then watch Mugen Train. You know who you are. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't
be those guys.
Get it,
right?
get it caught up. Put the time in. It's worth it. Trust me. But like I say, straight from the get go. As soon as it started up, and it's just back in that Demon Slayer world. And you just knew immediately, didn't you? Just the cinematography of that intro scene, you knew it was going to be absolutely awesome. Like a highlight straight from the get.
Yeah. It upsets me I can't remember his name right now, but the leader of the corps, the Demon Slayer corps, that garden that he's in at the opening.
Like the wisteria.
The trees moving in about. I mentioned this in the chat beforehand.
Yeah.
That with anime that gets a movie, the movie tends to have an improvement in animation, which usually it's just more things on the screen animated. It really is all it is. And I was hoping for that in Demon Slayer, because Demon Slayer didn't need it anyway, but to have something to bump it up even more. And that the shading on his face was moving, the trees in the background,
the shadowing was just absolutely outrageous.
Yes.
The quality was insane.
Yeah.
And Demon Slayer already did an incredible job of making the surroundings just amazing all the time. You know, with that perfect balance of CGI and the classic 2D animation style.
Best I've seen.
Easily. It really does flow in and out of those two styles just seamlessly. Just seamlessly. And Mugen Train was no different. Let me tell you that now. It was, I said the words, it's going to be an episode. I believe on the preview you hear me say it as well. It's going to be like an episode on crack, right? And it was.
I mean, on the CG, there's one part of it that I felt, and I mentioned this after watching the CG.
And I agreed,
We'll get to when we're talking about things that we felt could have been better, if anything, we'll touch on that.
We'll get to that, we'll get.
Let's go round and just straight off the bat, just give your favourite part of, or favourite element. Doesn't have to be the favourite scene, or it could be just favourite instant, favourite element, favourite sound. What was yours?
Oh, that's tough.
Because there's so many.
Yeah, there's so many amazing moments.
And I mean, you know what? It would have awed him more than us as well. You would have been.
I'm just that bit was awesome. But then and I don't know, Tanjiro's subconscious in and of itself is an amazing moment.
Yeah. Absolutely,
that is next level.
Serene to the max.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
It's one of it was definitely a highlight. It wasn't like my top moment.
No.
It wasn't the thing that I was most looking forward to.
No. It wasn't even in my...
But to say, this is the incredible thing. It was something that I'd read so long ago. And I didn't really think too much of it. It was what it was. It was awesome and everything, but I just didn't think too much of it. But when that kid walks into Tanjiro's subconscious, you just see it. just like the never ending, just beautiful blue sky and the clouds and the warm sun. You just absolute like feel the serenity, like you feel it
as well. Like such a contrast from what was happening at the time as well.
Yeah.
Everything was so desperate at that time.
Panic.
But all of a sudden, you're just inside Tanjiro's spirit world, and it's just bliss.
Yeah, it was just knowing that like just at all times he's just got that perfect calm and just that pure heart. Like of all the anime characters, there's so many that are like super good. You know what I mean? They're good and they're like, super wholesome. But like Tanjiro is like in his own level. Like he's got his own plane
level
of
of purity.
existence for being like just a good character.
I mean, it hit harder in the movie than it did in the manga. I mean, when I was reading that part in the manga, I was like, oh, that's a nice touching moment. But when the sprites are showing him...
Yeah, when they're actually like walking him to where he's going, even though he's got ill intention.
Yeah, like, damn, I remember seeing that. And that was one of the moments where, like you said earlier, really stands out for Tanjiro being such a pure-hearted character. But in the movie, that was just amplified.
It was portrayed
that impact was just
so incredibly well. That for me, definitely.
It really was.
What about yours, though? What about yours? What was your absolute highlight?
The bit that stands out for me the most, the thing that it wasn't the most sort of impactful actiony moment, but it's at the end when Tanjiro's having his fit as
when he's screaming at Akaza.
Akaza, when Akaza's scarpering from the sun and he's shitting his blubbering, it's like, it's not fair, we bleed, but you guys can heal yourselves and you're running away now, guys. I'm like
we fight you in the dark, like on your territory, but you won't fight us in the sunlight,
madness. And obviously, again, I'd read that part and it was touching to read as well.
The voice actors are incredible. They really are.
They did such an amazing job.
Awesome job. But,
all of them are amazing. Like Tanjiro's voice actor, like in particular for like you say, scenes like that, just absolutely incredible. Like he really does encapsulate that emotion and that frustration behind it. Whereas it's like, finally, for those of you guys who haven't obviously read the manga like we have and seen it all the way through, you are finally getting that first true taste of how brutal the Demon Slayer world is. Like,
this is the first thing.
You watch so many anime where the good guys always win and they might get beaten up, but they always pull through. Now, this is your first taste that nobody is safe in Demon Slayer, and someone with the presence and the power of Rengoku, and he's the first one to go down.
Oh man,
to upper third of the deal. I've got to say as well,
it's odd. It uses the tropes against you, innit? Like, even amongst all of the Hashira, he's standout.
Yeah,
just in his
absolutely.
appearance and his character. So you're like, well, he's clearly going to be in. He's getting loud. It's not your turn to talk. Shut up.
I know.
I'm not staring at his. I'm not staring at his penis. But
not this time. But look, you're getting Riley now. You're getting Wiley. You're getting too loud.
Had me thinking, when I first come across him, he's clearly going to be in it, and he's got that link with he's the flame asher, and he wants to know about the fire dance. He's clearly going to be a mentor to us. He could even be the Jiraiya. You know what I'm saying? Like, but
especially with him mentioning the fact that he's just like, I'll teach you.
Yeah.
You could be mad. Do you know what I mean? Literally says to him, I'll teach you, which leads to an unbelievable scene. Where he tells Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke that he'll train all three of them, and they're just dancing around him. Big bro! And they're just like floating around it. Oh man.
He's just loving life.
I know, and he's just stood there like smiling with those like big wide eyes. Like it had, that's one thing I've got to say about Mugen Train, it had the best levels of that Japanese, those purely Japanese scenes that like, when you're really into anime, you absolutely love them. But as someone to like watch and be like, what the hell is going on? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he had the perfect amount of them. Like, not too many, not too
wild.
It
Balance
was
of
perfect
everything.
balance.
I imagine people that didn't know of Demon Slayer might have watched the film and was expecting like just more action, less. Of
Yeah.
it. I mean, there was a lot of action. Don't get me wrong. It's still like the core of it, definitely. But there were moments where there was clearly, time dedicated to expressing something other than that sort of.
Absolutely, like
fight.
it tells the story as well. It doesn't just go,
yeah.
here's all the action and just like throw it all at you, and it's just like, oh, it's non-stop high octane. Like,
I mean,
it carries on.
It's canon. It's if anybody doesn't
This is the
know,
thing. Yeah.
it's
legit
you
canon.
finish season 1,
Yep.
then it's Mugen Train, and then season 2 is going to start. Not like any other anime that I've come across.
Yeah, the
anyway, where
classic.
the
It's just a film.
movies, it's a
Don't worry
separate
about it.
universe, an ultimate dimension or something
Doesn't
like that.
doesn't matter if you don't watch them. You
Yeah.
can watch an anime series all the way through from start to finish. Never watch a single film, and it doesn't matter. You don't need to. They're not relevant to the storyline. Mugen Train is essentially season 2. That is season 2 right there in that film, and then season 3, which is what season 2 is going to be. That is what it is. It absolutely continues from there. Obviously, it gives you like a bit of a preview, doesn't it? Obviously, we've had the trailer now for we've had the trailer now for season 2 of Demon Slayer. If you haven't checked it out, check it out, guys.
Look, it's a good
absolutely
thing
incredible.
that the manga's finished because it means
Yeah.
from what they've done so far in the anime is it's bang on like the manga. There's going to be no need for filler.
No. And it's not long enough to warrant it, in my opinion. Demon Slayer is not long enough as a series to warrant filler. It just isn't. Like, it really, really just isn't. Like,
I mean, the back end worries me, what happens in the back end of the manga, but we'll get onto that a bit later on.
Yeah.
What was your highlight, bro?
my highlight, to be honest, I mean, it's difficult to say, like, highlight. I'd say my highlight moment, like my favourite moment, was Akaza v Rengoku.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
absolutely, like, no question.
That
That fight was absolutely my highlight. And as daft as it sounds, there's one little scene, I know I've mentioned it to both of you guys, there's one little scene where Tanjiro and Inosuke are like set back, like watching what's happening, like trying to like trace like the speed of the movements, and it's all like cloudy and smoky, and you can just see like the blue,
clashes.
like the blue from Akaza and the red from Rengoku, like just the little streaks clashing in there, and it was just, it sounds so simple and like almost sounds daft to be like such a highlight, but just the colour and just the depth of it was just absolutely unreal. And one of the things that I was looking forward to most in Mugen Train to begin with was Akaza, because
just the first real
having finished it, I couldn't wait to finally meet this character that obviously, for those of you who haven't, you finally got a little taste of him. Little taste. Whereas, gone the long haul, know what happens, know what the crack is. It's just absolutely awesome to finally see an upper demon animated in action,
This is for anybody that might have
especially one that gnarly.
Because a few people have pointed out to us. I mean, Zio mentioned it. It's just not what I gathered from what he said and from what other people have said to me about it as well. Is it's not just combat-y enough. It's not just
Not action enough. Stuff doesn't happen quickly enough.
Yeah, but these like the enemies you might have seen them fight until now, like you might have thought, okay, they're getting more and more powerful. Like the jump now from the lower moons to the upper moons is just unfathomable. This is where, as far as I'm concerned, like the real gripping action parts are going to get you. I mean, the combat so far has been good, but it's been good in moments.
Yeah.
Like the first time you saw the water surface slash, like just that bit with the action, it was just the slash alone.
Yeah. Just those moments, those moves. Absolutely.
But with what's going to kick off with these upper moons, I can tell you now, it's going to be complete battles of, like you saw with it, like it's that Dragon Ball Z level of just like insanity in a battle. So anybody that was worried that up until now, because I know a few of you were, that it's just not.
It's gone a bit slow.
It's not got boom enough in it in the combat bits. It's coming.
I think the best thing that I can say to do with that, in my personal opinion, I'm not saying this is law or anything, this is just my personal opinion. Demon Slayer is one of the only, if not for me, the main anime of a protagonist's actual realistic struggle to get good.
Yes.
Every anime I've seen, by the end of season 1, they're already balling. They're already kicking ass. The big enemy's been defeated of like that season. Don't worry about it, right? It's fine. We're moving on up, right? Just get gnarlier. Whereas Demon Slayer, it starts as literally a lad who his family's just been eviscerated. And he literally just gets, you know, luckily enough, gets sort of like taken under the wing, if you will, a sort of Tomioka says, right, go here, get this training. And he gets training, starts off as like any one of us, just a guy.
Yeah.
And then even by the action that you see is already like insane, like the levels of, and we're already lucky enough to get the training jump where he finally slices the boulder in half.
Yes.
I mean, that's already like a year skip. He was in that training for like a year trying to cut that boulder in half. Do you know what I mean? So the jump is unreal, and all this like training and stuff. Yeah.
In my mind, it was a year.
And all this training and stuff is so wildly necessary because, and trust me, if you stick with Demon Slayer, you thought it wasn't quite like literally like you were saying before, you think, oh, it's not quite action enough for me. Strap in.
Because
it's later on. If you've watched Demon Slayer, you're familiar with it. You know about the big bad.
Yeah.
You know who he is. You're familiar.
Michael Jackson.
But yeah, absolutely. He is the smooth criminal, and you've seen MJ, right? And you know what the crack is. You have had a little flash, you know, like obviously in season 1, you know, you see him there, he's right there, this, that, and the other. But only now in Mugen Train have you actually witnessed what the upper echelons of the demons are capable of. And Akaza takes down Rengoku like it's a joke. Like, as much as I don't want to take anything away from Rengoku, it's
more than fighting.
He's not really
throughout the whole thing is that join us.
All he's bothered about is trying to turn him to a demon. That's all he cares about. He's not like, he even says like, I'm sure he even says like, I don't really want to kill you, really. Like, because I don't really want to kill you because
you'd be great. Fight me. He wants like a fighting partner. He's like, you'll be a great fighting partner.
Yeah, because he's like, we'll fight for eternity, basically. Yeah, we can just fight for eternity. And this is the thing, and that's obviously what he's after. And you watch the fight, and don't be wrong, apart from like one moment where even Akaza's a bit like, oh shit, like it just got real. It's a joke.
Yeah.
You've never seen any demon this powerful like before now, and that's number 3.
What's quite funny is
he's number 3.
I just realised throughout everything regarding the lower moons, they've always repeated and always stressed on the point that they're nothing. Like even the lower moons themselves, like, oh, he doesn't care about us. He just uses us like pawns and stuff. But the upper moons, he looks after them and stuff like that. So and then like that's legit like what it is. Like you think that any of the lower moons have been like, oh, something to worry about. Well, they're nothing.
I'd say demons that have been kicking around for 20 to 50 years as opposed to demons that have been kicking around for thousands.
Yeah.
Like,
they haven't
there's
changed.
There's a big difference there's a big difference in like upper and lower. There really is.
Little peek at all of them. Somehow.
Yeah, if Mugen Train as well, you do.
Yeah.
You get that
blurry outlines and stuff. Yeah.
And I know for me and you, it's so amazing to sit there and just be like, and just go through and just like see all the silhouettes.
Such good characters as well. Each one is such a good depiction of a character. We can do spoilers, but we can't do spoilers.
Oh we can't do because all I'd say is I'm not saying that they're on the same level because the Akatsuki are like they're my favourite like villain crew like of all time, unbelievable. But what I will say is, in my opinion, the upper moons have the diversity of the Akatsuki.
Yeah.
So whereby like all of them are they're on the same team and stuff. They wear the kimono, yada yada yada. They're all very different as individual members. I don't know if you would agree that it's very much the case with the upper moons.
Allegiance
very
to
much.
Muzan. They don't care for each other at all. As far as like the feelings for each other, it comes across like they're just like independent of them. But then Muzan comes around and they're all just like,
any niceties are out of respect in front of Muzan, basically. When they're together and stuff, they'll sort of nicey, but it's that classic.
You don't even understand how dark that guy is and how sort of like fierce he is.
Because you get that odd little glimpse, don't you? Like even in season 1, where he's got like about 5 or 6 of them in front of him, and he's just like dead. Like you all just and that's basically like all of the lower moons. He just goes knocks them all off. Just
So many times in the manga where he's been displeased by something usually somebody has said.
He's
twisted it. So he usually it's that kind of character.
That's so true.
Just so he can like then have a go at him, and then it's just a look that he gives them. And in the manga, those cells are just like so impactful. I can't wait to see Those
look
bits.
in his eyes,
Yeah,
and it's like you've seen it once. Like again
Yeah.
in season 1, you do see that glare that he
yeah.
does, but you definitely get it later on. And exactly that as well. He always like someone will say something, and he'll just twist it into offending him.
Yeah.
Just
100%,
so
like, yeah.
he'll always twist it into
you
like.
telling me
so
what
what
to
you're
do?
telling me,
Yeah, it's like-
where it's just like, oh, maybe we should do this, Lord. It's just like, so you're telling me what to do now?
Yeah. And
Dead.
Literally. Anything that you want? I don't think anything displeased me at all. So,
No.
is there anything that you felt could have been done better, or something you wanted more of, perhaps?
I always want more Inosuke. Right?
Yeah.
He's amazing.
So much
I love
good
that
stuff.
guy.
Yeah.
He's
too
his
good.
voice actor.
Does
As I was
such a
saying
good
it, he's
job.
just
Yeah.
that. I just call him the Uda because they was like, I got that. And just
Yeah,
the way he
love
screams,
it.
I
He's
just
so
love
good.
it. Hanging out the flipping train and stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
just
I
like-
want to see if I can run faster than the train.
It's like so fast.
Fucking idiot. Yeah.
He's not usually my favourite sort of character.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
Inosuke, there's something about him. There's
Yeah,
something
yeah.
about. Maybe it was the train. Maybe it was
He's
the
just
train.
so lovable. He's just
He
so lovable. And the fact that as well, the fact that when they were first getting on the train, Inosuke, having never ever seen a train before, assumed that it was a creature, assumed that it was something that could be defeated. So he starts on the train, tries to kill it, and obviously just hitting it with his sword, and just like, hang
Stop
on,
it.
steady on.
Yeah.
It's not to be killed. And then later on, the demon they're fighting becomes
The
one
train.
with the train, and he's like,
I
I knew it! He was like, I was right all along. The train is a demon. I
When you
knew
go
it.
into his spirit as well, where he's got the rest of them, there's like his minions and stuff.
Yeah.
One of them's a raccoon or something. And
Like, they're
Tanjiro's
literally
a
all
raccoon.
Tanuki up, aren't they? Yeah, that was so good. To give that a bit of context as well, to give that a bit of context, the demon that they are on the Mugen Train to find is basically puts people to sleep and kills them by trapping them in dreams, essentially. And he sends in these like vulnerable children to destroy their like subconscious in it. So like basically destroy their like spirit essence within them. And then they can't come out of the dream and they'll die, basically. So
They have to go to the edge of the dream to go into
Yeah.
the subconscious space, and then that's where you see
like
what
cut
we
the way
mentioned
out of the dream and get
Yeah.
deep inside their
So
mind kind of thing.
When
This
we
is
said Tanjiro's was so calm earlier, that was
Yeah,
his
that's
one.
exactly that one.
Rengoku's was just hot and fiery.
fire
it's like pure
everywhere.
fire everywhere. Yeah, just fire everywhere.
Um,
Absolutely.
In
Yeah.
those days was his dream.
That was his dream,
His
wasn't it?
dream was just like he was the commander of the squad.
Of the squad, yeah, he was basically the leader, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And the others were just like super like weak and like
Here's some shiny acorns.
like Zenitsu with his like proper like buck teeth looking like a squirrel. like-
Fever or something. Yeah.
Oh, it was so funny. And then Nezuko, of course, because everyone fancies Nezuko. Like
yeah,
Nezuko
yeah.
was like she was the one who was all right.
Yeah, she didn't want to go and do what he was saying, so it's
Yeah.
like, I got you some shiny acorns. So she's like, hey, let's go.
Like, hey, yeah.
That's how simple he is, like
Absolutely.
what goes off in his mind.
Yeah, Inosuke's was
he's
still
brilliant.
basically like the dream was in that cave, and his subconscious was in a cave.
Yeah.
But he was like a
An actual
wild,
boar.
like actual
Actual
boar
boar,
version, like a man boar version of himself. This feral
Chasing down
beast
the girl.
trying to hunt that girl down.
Zenitsu's was the best.
Zenitsu's
Zenitsu's was the best.
amazing.
It's just black, right?
Just darkness, nothing but just darkness. You can't see your hand in front of your face, down darkness,
Yeah.
and he's just floating around in there.
Yeah. So the guy that's gone into Zenitsu's subconscious, is just like, why is it so black here? Then Zenitsu just turns up like.
Disappears behind him, doing all looking all like
Gaunt and
gaunt.
stuff like-
He's all like gaunt and withered.
Where's Nezuko? Where is she? Now you've come here to get her. Now I said this afterwards, innit? I'm sure in the manga it's like he's got the scissors because he's implying that if you don't like leave because this is for me and Nezuko, I'm gonna cut your bits off.
Yeah, he's
But
gonna cut
He
your
didn't
balls.
quite say that in the subs.
No,
There was no real point made.
No,
of the
he
scissors.
didn't
He's just
actually
got
know.
some giant scissors.
But I'm adamant from
Yeah,
the
yeah.
manga he was going to snip his mouth.
Yeah,
Like he was going for the jewels, wasn't he? Definitely. So he's like, have you seen Nezuko? And he's just
yeah.
like, no, I haven't seen it. He's like, then you'll die.
Yeah.
And he starts chasing him, trying to cut him with these scissors, man. It was so funny.
Awesome. Rengoku, when he's in his flipping
Oh,
dream state,
don't.
like when the one sent into his
Heart-wrench.
dream cut her way out, while he's still asleep, like grabbed her by the neck in real life or in the train, And it was due to his desire to survive. Was that strong.
Survival instinct is so
Even
strong.
in his subconscious, he's able
He's
to
just
grab
choking her out.
the threat. But it's just there for like ages as well, isn't it?
He's
Like,
just
he's
stood, yeah,
sitting there, like, just asleep. Just
I was gonna say,
stood there,
for
like, how
ages,
badass
just
is
stood
this
up,
man?
just choking this girl out. Yeah, just stood there, like raises her off the ground, just choking her out to stop her, to stop her obviously, killing him essentially. Yeah.
So Inosuke was just not lack of.
I just always want more of it. Like in everything. Like I'd be happy with his own little spin-off series. I've never said that about a side character.
No, I was gonna say he has been. I've preferred him in the movie than at any point in the anime.
Really?
It's not like I don't like him in the anime, but there's just things I prefer more. But in the movie, his moments.
He had one of the funniest moments for me. He definitely had like one of the moments that tickled me the most when he's just like, I'm not crying.
Oh,
and he's
yeah.
like running, like flailing his arms, and he's so good going like, I'm not crying, and flooding out his poor massive all three of us just burst out laughing to the cinema at that.
Giving his
else
don't cry and be strong, and
like, stop being a
crying's
wing,
not
like-
going to do anything. It's like, but you're crying. I'm not crying.
Oh, we can't cry, it's all gone, like, we'll be fine. It's like, you're crying, I'm not crying.
What was it? One of them was like, you're crying that much, it's leaking out of your
whole face.
So good. Yeah, he was amazing. What about you, man? What about you for you? What would you say?
It was, I mentioned it earlier, the CG on the train.
Yeah.
It was the only time.
To be honest,
it was so obvious the CG was used. Like, it was used in other parts and it has been used in the anime, but it's been used cleverly. It's been used correctly.
Yeah, it's been used well.
But the train was just so blatant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how difficult it would have been because I don't know quite enough about
so
animation for them to do it. So and it was the whole thing was brilliant. It was good. It was still good, but that was the bit that sort of pulled it down.
It was
for
just
me.
too much. It was just a little too 3D. And the thing is, I may as well say it now because I know it's like super boring, but mine is pretty much the same as yours.
Yeah.
Like the overuse of the sort of
but it was
CGI
only on the train.
with the tentacles inside the train.
Yeah.
If it had been a bit more of a not so blatant, like because obviously you had, the sort of the goo, if you will, the stuff all over the train, but you had the sort of drawn in stuff, and then you had the it's come alive CG stuff.
What was the demon's name? They were fighting.
And it was his name's left me, unfortunately.
But yeah,
as much as it
fused
pains
with the
me
train
to say.
and it all became like sort of fleshy and stuff like that. But I mean, it is available. When I was booking the tickets,
it's
it's
available
in IMAX. It was available in 4D, not in Chesterfield where we went to watch it, but obviously in other cinemas somewhere. It was available in like 3D and 4D. So I'm thinking, well, that must have been specifically for those. That element of it was put in. But that was the only. It annoyed me more than it's the only flaw that I could really pick out. To be honest with you, the pacing of it was done really well. Didn't feel like I was sat for too long, but at the same time, didn't really want it to drag on either.
I think it helped me personally knowing what was coming, and I know that it almost sounds daft, but spacing I don't think was ever going to be a problem for me because I sort of knew I knew what was going to happen. So, I mean, I do know what you mean. Like, sometimes it can go a little bit slow. Maybe we didn't know where it was going to finish. Like, I was pretty adamant it was basically going to finish, like, where that arc finishes. And it did. It did end where I sort of already had the idea it would. But knowing what had to be in there, I knew that no matter what, it was going to ramp
more
up
time
some
on
good stuff.
Rengoku's fight scenes and stuff. I mean, to be fair,
If anything, I remember less Rengoku backstory than I recall from the manga, Like, I really recall from the manga it being, I'm thinking later on. I'm going to say I'm thinking more later on, aren't I?
Things get a bit deeper later on, don't worry. So, it's not even just like it's the end of Rengoku as well, like it's still...
Yeah, again, spoiler, we can give you the spoiler-free little sort of make you feel better tidbits that it's not, he's not just going to be forgotten about that kind of thing. No, don't worry about it. It's not just he's dead moving on. No, he's
He's dead.
He's dead.
He's dead. It isn't Dragon Ball like that.
Please don't think that we're saying like, resurrection. Like, no.
It's not that.
But no, it's not just like he's dead. We're moving on. No, he was a Hasher, for God's sake. He's got to be remembered.
So season 2.
Absolutely looking awesome. We've got the
So,
Stone Hashira coming.
Yeah, we know what that's all about.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know how it's not gonna. I don't feel like it's gonna follow the movie. Like it's not gonna outshine it.
I think it depends. I mean, even from watching the trailer, the animation looks along the same sort of lines.
It's
And
just
I
the
really
plot.
think from
What
the
occurs.
success of, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I
do
don't
know
think
what
I'm
you
going to
mean,
enjoy
but-
what's coming up as much as I have the Mugen Train.
Oh, like Mugen Train's like an absolute highlight. Do you know what I mean? Like it is. It really is like a peak. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, you get it with all anime, don't you? It peaks. It sort of drops back down. Not necessarily saying it drops back down into anything bad.
No,
but
no,
it
no,
drops
no,
back
no,
down
no.
again. It slows down, and it isn't always Demon Slayer. As you've seen, as we've said before, so many people sort of, I didn't really get into it because there wasn't action all the time. Demon Slayer is, there is story there. But the thing is, if you're watching an anime for pure action all the time, watch Dragon Ball. Do you know what I mean? Like you're not.
Standard.
That's what those sort of anime are for. To be five.
There's enough of the combat actiony stuff in there to entice people that like that in.
Yeah.
But there's also enough of the other stuff for the people that like the other stuff.
Yeah, you've got to remember, there's always
a
a
nice
build
mix
up.
of the two.
They've all
so
got that build back up
lot
to
of
the next
people-
big thing. Everything's got to have that build up stage.
Speaking, because Luke mentioned me, he says, I'm going to call him out actually. Luke
he's calling
actually
him.
claimed.
He's
right,
coming at you.
Yeah, flipping that he feels it was overrated.
What was overrated?
The Mugen Train.
You are.
That's what he told me.
do you mean
He sent me a
overrated?
message. He feels like he's been to see it, and he feels it was overrated. He preferred the.
Edgelord. I get it. Because it was popular.
My hero.
I want to, lad. I got you. Because it was
Okay.
popular. It
Yeah.
can't be that good, can it? Do you know what I mean? But trust me, it
But-
can, and it is.
It's one of a few anime and manga that have as much of even some of the combat isn't like super high octane.
Yeah.
And stuff that grabs me as much as Demon Slayer has usually is like Dragon Ball levels of stuff, or when there is stuff
the
like in
classics.
Bleach as well. Like it's just like wow, I'm blown away, and then I'm blown away again, and then I'm blown away. With this, like I'm blown away, and now I'm feeling like stuff for Tanjiro, and now
I'm feeling
like,
emotions. Now I'm blown away. Now
I
there's
feel like the
emotions. Now I'm blown away.
desperation. That's it. Desperation comes across so well. In
Because
Demon
these
Slayer.
are humans, like real humans, actual humans, not humans with latent superpowers, not humans who are actually half alien, and you know what I mean? These are
Legit
human
humans.
beings. These are they've no special powers. I don't get me wrong.
How young are they? 'Cause
They
they
might
look incredibly
animate
young,
it
don't
to
they?
look. I'm sure Tanjiro is supposed to be like 17,
I wanna say
18, like 16, 17,
16 to 18,
18.
that sort of
Yeah.
range.
By anime standards
Late
and manga
teens.
standards, they do look
He's old.
very young. Like, but they do look like
Okay, so
children,
when you,
don't
think,
they?
when you
Yeah,
think about it though, like I was gonna say like the squad for instance, like they're old in comparison to a lot.
Yeah.
I mean Naruto, 13, like 12 to 13
Oh,
in
fucking
part
hell, yeah.
1 when they
Yeah.
begin. Hunter, how young's God?
Oh yeah, he's like
Beastars.
9 or something like that. Yeah.
Like they're always children. Do you know what I mean? They're always like
Yeah.
kids. Whereas like in Demon Slayer, they're like barely
I
adolescent.
think that's it. I think I might prefer it better if it had that sort of old. If all the cast were older, had that edgier sort of look about them. I might, because I remember when I first got into the manga, I did say like, I'm not digging the art.
Yeah, because you said to me at
yeah.
first, you're like, I'm not sure if it's. I think I prefer the art in the anime to the manga. I was like, it's the same art. What are you talking about? I was like, and I was like, I was just like, what are you on about?
Like,
I was like,
with the anime, like you've got the CG.
I'm so glad
and
you
you've
went
got the-
back, man. Really.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
so
no.
glad,
Like,
you
I-
actually went back and you were
the
like,
story
nah, nah,
alone.
nah.
The story alone was. I was well in. Well, not well
Yeah.
into it. I was a fair few chapters into it at that point, but I was like, I just from this sort of like the samurai style fights and stuff.
Yeah.
It's usually a different. It's not that. It's not chibi, but it's got that childish sort of edge to it. The characters, and I like that sort of more mature look to things. But obviously the plot of what's going off and the projection of how it expresses desperation, you feel desperate.
Oh, give it time, yeah. If you want me,
feel
if
desperate
maturity
for
in
them.
Demon Slayer is a concern for you, again, seriously, give it time because it gets to a point, like I say, really fixing on and remembering that they are humans with no special powers. Again, they might animate it to look all cool, slashy with the different abilities and stuff, but these are people. Do you know what I mean? The only sort of superpower really is breathing.
Yeah.
That is literally it. Their superpower is
essentially
controlled breathing.
Chakra, spirit, ki. That's like even in IRL, there are cultures that believe that breathing in certain ways and stuff gives
absolutely
enhances your being and things like that.
And it does. I mean, how do you think free divers like dive down for like 10 minutes holding their breath? You know, ridiculous stuff like that where you can just hold your breath for so very long.
Athletes go up into the mountains where it's enough to train.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
you know, you really can push the human body. To
maybe not to the point where don't pull off like, I'm never gonna pull off like a water surface slap. Like, no matter how much I try.
You can keep practicing that.
I'm never gonna take one step forward and somebody's just gonna slice it out. I get that. I get it.
Sit in my bedroom, just breathe in a funny way for a couple of years.
The fact remains that within, the fictional medium of an anime and the sort of the anime rules, they really are just people. Compared to no superpowers or anything like that. So the struggle that you've seen so far has been nothing. You've seen Tanjiro struggle against lower moons. You've seen
it's not magic or anything like that either. It's like the demons aren't all the demons have demonic powers, but they're not like casting spells and stuff like that. It's all like hand to hand-ish type stuff. They have buffs and debuffs.
Yeah.
And, don't want to give too much away about the
of course.
You get to see. Just don't want to say. It's always best when you experience what they can do yourself for the first time, and you got some good.
Oh yeah, and I'll speak for the Demon Slayers on that as well. Let me tell you now. I'll speak for the Demon Slayers as well, because obviously, like most, you've seen what you've seen so far. But obviously, they've got to get good. They've got to get. If Akaza, like the number 3 of the upper, can annihilate a Hashira. I think Tanjiro and Inosuke are gonna fare. They're not fair.
Whenever has like an enemy been introduced and has taken out like what was meant to be a key player. Like what was
the Hashira are supposed to be like the be all and the end all against the demons.
Yeah,
like they are the first port of call. They are like the best that they've got to offer.
As well, because he says
first you ever see of him outside of like meeting him.
Well, no, it's just like
the first time you see him in action.
None of the Hashira have ever met any of the upper moons. They haven't had a fight. Like,
never seen him before.
So they've just been training for this enemy that they're told is out there.
Yeah.
First time they come across one of them's dead. Like, so just strap in. Strap in.
Absolutely. And it's just like that. I mean, just put it in perspective right there. And you assume with it being like, again, like we said, all the tropes, the classic anime tropes. You assume like it's fine. It'll get patched up and it'll be alright. And it's like, no.
We were there, weren't we?
No,
I kept leaning into him like, I bet they think. It's because every time there was like 2 moments it went down and it looked like he was down, and then he powered up again.
And he's coming back.
They think that it's gonna, I bet they're just not ready. They're not ready for it. No
and
one's
even
right up until the very end. You're like, no, he's dead. He's gone.
And even with that, like finally getting to see it animated, even with that power up, even the two of us knowing full well, he dies, are like, maybe he's got a chance.
Even
we were like, maybe he's got a chance.
Wait, this is something just feels different about.
I think this is a bit too gnarly.
Yeah, like, jeez, I didn't think he powered back up this much.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, like he might actually have a chance, but it's just like no.
I mean, if you're into all of that sort of super colourful aura and zooming in and flashing and stuff, which I love, there is that in there.
Tanjiro has lost a second sword, so you can imagine with that throw that pierced Akaza as he ran away to the front. You can only imagine. Again, if you're familiar with the series, guys, you know all about Tanjiro's Swordmaker, and you better believe after he broke one of them, how upset he was.
Yeah.
Get ready for that second go.
Legit comes across he's not happy. Trust me, that's what I'm gonna say.
There is some honestly unbelievable revelations and just stuff. There's just some incredible.
It's hard to only spoil the movie. You don't want to spoil.
I could talk all day about outrageously good stuff, like in Demon Slayer as a series, and it is.
It's
when I first finished it,
100%.
When I first finished it, I was honestly I questioned whether it was enough. Do you know what I mean? I almost questioned whether it was enough. I know I came to you two afterwards and I was like, I finished it. I can't actually believe I finished it. It turns out it's only like, it was only like 214 chapters long. I'm used to things like Naruto and Bleach. I'm used to like 500 plus.
Because of the hype it's got.
And I'm like, where's
I was expected to keep on going.
And I thought when I saw like 214, I thought, oh well, that's where we're up to date, and then I'll wait for the next one.
Yeah.
And then I finished it. And I was just like, it blew my mind. And at first I'm thinking like, what? Like, surely no, there's got to be more. But I tell you what, you let it settle in, and it's like, no, it's perfect. It tells a story, and that's what it's about.
Yeah.
I think in this day and age, we're way too used to clinging on.
Yeah.
And never letting anything die.
Yeah.
Never letting anything go.
It's a sad feeling when nobody wants to embrace the sad feeling of finishing.
Absolutely, it's like when you finish a series
what
or
am I
you
gonna
finish
do
a
with
game
my life
and you
now?
feel empty. You've got that like empty feeling. You don't know what to do with yourself. You're like, I remember like the first time I finished like the Mass Effect trilogy. I know we've talked about it a lot recently.
Oh, it's so empty.
I was like, what do I do with myself now? I was like, how do I live without these characters in my life? Like what do I do now?
I found a way around that. I played Mass Effect again.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did it again.
But it's one of those and you want it to carry on, and I was exactly the same again. You finish like a book series and you're like, I need more of this world, but sometimes you just got to accept. I was literally saying this to the wife the other day. Sometimes you just got to accept that it's finished.
It's romantic.
Story's over.
It's a beautiful agony.
I want to know where that boat goes at the end of Return of the King. I want more. You know what I mean? Lord of the Rings is over. I don't want it to be, right?
I just finished Rurouni Kenshin, the manga. I finished it, and at the end, spoiler, at the end, are any of you two interested in reading it? It's an OG one.
No, go for it.
One of the basically the Sasuke, the Vegeta, he just up sticks and leaves like, oh, I'm leaving Japan now. I'm like, what? Just why? Why? You could okay, the authorities are after you, but you just have to mention, well, I did it for Kenshin, who's like,
no way. Like, it's just like,
I'm just gonna go. See you in a bit. And like, there needs to be at least a good reason for you to go, not just because you're gonna go and live your life now. No, you're not allowed to live your life without me knowing how it concludes. The soundtrack was
amazing, unbelievable,
absolutely.
Always has been. Even the music for the season 2 trailer. Fucking sick! I just want to download it and sample it and just play.
I think I can speak for. I can speak for us as a unit, as the SharinGANG. When I say it, we're already biased because as soon as it kicks in with as soon as it kicks in traditional Japanese instruments, we're already just like, do you know what I mean? We're already like, oh my god. But regardless. All of it, all the way through, was just so fitting. It was just so perfect. It just really worked well.
And you pointed out as well, the bass was used incredibly well.
Unbelievably well. Yeah,
not just sound.
Just that preemptive rumble.
Yeah.
That you get.
The 3D-ness of it, that screech. There was a.
Oh yeah, it's like Rengoku, wasn't it? When he's like screaming with the power against like Akaza.
Around.
And it just spins around. It peaked at one point where it was like, it was almost like startling how much it peaked in your ear.
But it definitely was done very well to complement what was going off.
It just builds that excitement, you just felt that rumble before you heard any sound coming from the film at all. Like, no sound, no build, but you just felt that rumble. It's just like, ooh. So it's gonna, especially as it started to creep toward the end as well. Every time there was a rumble, we were just like, oh, it might be now. Until Akaza finally turned up and we were like, it's now.
Now it's done, yeah. It plays with you, innit? That when the train crashed.
Yeah. I love his design as well. I've got to say, as far as villainous characters go, I love his sort of almost, I want to use this in the right context because I love his design, but it's almost like quite a flippant design in the sense of he's like, he's not too gnarly. Look, he's got short hair, he's got pink fucking eyelashes and stuff. Yeah. And he's pretty casual dude. In that regard, he's not.
Unassuming.
He's not got that presence. He has. Don't get me wrong, or at least he makes it very known when he gets going.
That snowflake flipping thing, where
he gets into the
more of that. That's one thing I'd said even before I finished the manga. When he gets into that mode.
Yeah, before you even finished it, you said to me, you're like, oh, because obviously
like watching a Bruce Lee movie or something. Every now and then, at certain points in Bruce Lee movies, I find myself just tensing up, like, the power.
Because you can imagine, how good it was with the short fight that you sort of had, and later on, that it has to come to some sort of ultimatum. He's still, he's a demon after all. He's got to get put down. Do you know what I mean? So obviously, when you start getting like the real stuff later on. And I know that we, again, as always, no spoilers for later on. Definitely not spoiling for later on. It's a character that you know, but I know that we have fanboyed over a particular Tomioka moment, which is just absolutely outrageous. And I mean, so many characters have incredible moments, so it's not just like, you know, it's not just picking one person out, but it really, the only thing I will say with it is it really goes into the proof of human struggle.
Yes. The end of it is one of the most grueling fights ever. Like,
it's just a loss, isn't it?
Yeah, like it is. It doesn't feel
really
like a victory
at
the end at all.
It's not a win.
I mean,
it's
a manga, it's an anime. You can probably guess there's going to be happy ever afters and stuff like that. But this one doesn't shine so bright.
No.
Not at all.
So don't be wrong, like, there is a happy ending in the sense that, you know, there's like 220 roughly like people on the train. All of them came out alright. They managed to save all the civilians are saved. Don't get me wrong, but they've lost one of the major fighting forces against the demons. Those 200 odd civilians that they've just saved, they ain't doing shit.
No.
They lifted a finger against those demons. You know what I mean?
Making demons stronger. You know what I mean? They've just gone to potentially be eaten by demons later on, and you know, make them stronger. Great.
Straight up. And it's like, even though they defeat the demon they went there for, still a massive loss. They still lost more than they gained. Absolutely. Because again, the lower moon will be replaced like that. Your classic training.
Yeah, you do get some more
it.
stuff like that, but it's just.
I mean, you'll get numerous training sessions before then, but you know there is a point at which when someone can easily eradicate a Hashira.
Yeah.
You've got to step your game up. Like you need to start getting serious. Not saying that Rengoku wasn't serious, but you need to start getting really serious now.
We always compare them to this, but Naruto and Bleach, the training periods in those are sort of, they feel like cheat.
Well, they are short.
They feel so cheap. Like, you did a little bit, and now you're like these guys.
You might draw it out in the anime for, you know, like 6 episodes of pure training that's in like, you know, maybe 2 chapters of the manga. Don't get me wrong, like they might draw it out, but yeah, what you often don't get, you know, the thing that you often don't get in Demon Slayer
is that you miss
is the years it takes to get where they need to be, as opposed to, you know, like obviously in Naruto, when he's training for the Rasen Shuriken, well, I'll just shadow clone it up and go twice as fast. That's nice and convenient. Like, I'm not arguing with it, you know what I mean? It works within the lore of the universe, but convenient. You know, Ichigo's just a one bomber. He just goes in there and just goes, you know, power achieved. Which I'm not arguing with because he's a fucking beast, but he does. He just goes in there. There might be a bit of a struggle, but power achieved. Whereas like these guys, it's just like, you know, get training hard now. Do you know what I mean? Because they aren't going to wait for you.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're not going to wait for you. So every moment that you're not killing them, they're killing hundreds of people. So.
It's the stuff that isn't needed, like the training. You don't need to focus so much on that. It's not so pivotal. With Bleach, the training is pivotal to the story, really, what he experiences while he's training in Bleach.
And Demon Slayer does give you the integral parts of the training.
Like, this is what they're doing. Now they've done it.
The bits that are important that show you why and how they take it to that next level. But you never get the, you know, I'm going to kick this tree 20 times. You don't get that sort of, it's not that kind of training kind of thing. I think the only
Nobody's out in the rain crying.
No, the only real focus is way later on, like toward the final arc. Again, I won't say any more than that, but way toward the final arc.
There's no dependency on moves. You see it all the time. Oh, I learned a new move. I just drop this every single enemy now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's no safety net though.
Yeah,
this is the thing in Demon Slayer. Like,
it's not like he achieves a level that makes him unstoppable.
There's no safety net. There's no, you know, you don't wait for the Hokage to show up and everything's okay. No. You don't wait for, you know, the main man Genryusai. You don't wait for that. You know, you don't wait for that. For him dropping in and then saving the day. That isn't a thing. Do you know what I mean? That's not a thing. It's just like, you've seen what they're capable of. You've seen that a Hashira isn't, you know, ready to stand up. To these upper moons.
First contact with them, dead.
Yeah. Like, so who are you falling back on?
Yeah.
You know, if you're not getting it done yourself, who are you falling back, or at least relying on people to also, you know, train up and get ready to get it done, who are you going to rely on? And this is the thing. It shows you that vulnerability and how almost one-sided Demon Slayer is.
Yeah.
It really does show you. Because obviously, again, in things like we said before, you know, the demons have got powers, they've got ridiculous regeneration, they can keep on going and going and going. They've pretty much got like infinite momentum, like an energy and whatnot. Whereas when you watch something like, you know, Naruto, for instance, everyone's got ninjutsu, everyone's a human, everyone's got energy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And people wear down.
Yeah.
You know, and some people are ill, some people are ill, and a fight's unfair. You know, some people are terminally ill, fight's unfair. You know, characters win that shouldn't. You know, when one's blatantly stronger, older, wiser. Do you know what I mean? But I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter about it. Don't worry about it.
Specific.
Of course, Sasuke won. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
It's Sasuke.
Of course he did.
So how do you intend to watch the next season? I mean, it's out in October.
October, yeah.
October. Are you just gonna episode by episode it?
It's a tough one, isn't it? When it's like, do you wait until you can just blast?
The thing is, though, is like I binged season 1. Like I blasted through that in a couple of days.
Yeah, because it's so easily. If it hooks you,
so
like it hooked
easy.
me. Yeah. And then, well, all three of us. I know it hooked all three of us into like,
It's just
like,
steady. It's a creeper. It's a creeper.
Yeah.
It doesn't like grab you at any moment. Like you just find yourself.
But you
in
always
it
just
all of a
want
sudden,
to watch that next one.
As soon as I saw, for me, as soon as I saw Tommy Oka, I was like, there's something to this.
Yeah.
Episode 1, straight away when he turns up, and just the look of him, the speed of him, this, that, and the other, I was like, there's something to this. When you get a character that looks as like, I don't mean
everyone's been a bit
iconic
pathetic
as
before then, isn't it?
everyone you know, everyone of status has that sort of iconic look to him.
Yeah.
And when Tommy Oka shows up, you look at him, you're just like,
This guy.
he's a beast.
He's
just
got,
know
He's got that cool. It's what I say, the lean back standing up though. That's sort of like he's so cool. He just looks
He's
relaxed.
the one who just sort
You know
of
what I mean?
like,
Like,
yeah,
it's a desperate
super cool
situation,
about it.
but he's just like hidden here, just like I'm gonna take care of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, okay, you know what I mean?
So I say,
Desperate times, this guy comes out and just tramples him. That means there's this height to this. This height, so.
and it has to be fair, what I said earlier about the upper moons and how varied they are, like the Akatsuki. So the Hashira.
Yeah.
It's all about them as well. That's what I'll give. Like the difference is, you know, you've got the super calm one, you've got the super bold one, you've got the you've got like, you know,
the crazy eyes guy.
you've got the one girl who's no nonsense. You've got the one girl who's all like, oh, I'm the girl, but I'm gnarly. Do you know what I mean? Like you have like such a diverse range of characters. You know, you've got the Hashira who's like crying all the time. Who's like he's super emotional.
Yes. Who's always praying.
Yeah, he was like basically like, it pains me, but yeah, Nezuko should die. You know what I mean? Like he's crying, he's just like, oh, such a young child, but definitely die, yeah.
And you do get a little bit of backstory to all of them as well. You do get a touch on.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that.
Of course you do. You definitely get that little extra. Yeah, you definitely get a little bit. But, you know, for those of you who need, like, you know, you need to know where they came from, every step of their childhood, that kind of backstory that some anime give you. It's not that one. It's definitely not that one. No, do not.
You get enough to understand Wagwan, and that's about it.
You get enough to emotionally attach yourself to that character, to understand like where they've come from and like some of the struggles. But that's like mainly what Demon Slayer does. It goes, oh, you want to know more about this character? Well, let me show you only the most tragic shit. This character has been through, and now you can understand why they are. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't go like, oh, happy childhood. Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. It just goes like, right, let me show you how brutal it's been for them, and now you can understand like why they are like that.
Are you going to do episode by episode or binge?
Oh, I don't know, man. I really don't.
I mean, because
I really don't know. To be honest, I might binge because what I might do, depends on how many episodes it's going to be, and if I can gauge when they're releasing the episodes, if it's like weekly, it's normally like one a week, isn't it?
Yeah.
If I can gauge how many episodes are going to be in season 2, if they state outright how many episodes are going to be in there, I'm either going to start reading it again, up until the point, or I'm going to start when it starts and go again. Yeah, I reckon so. I'll start watching it through again. Watch like Mugen Train, hit that, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do want to, but I have been thinking, ever since like, you know, ever since we watched Mugen Train and whatnot, I do want to read it through again. I do, absolutely. I am not good at getting to a point where I can't go any further. It's one of the main reasons why I turned to manga in the first place. It's just like, while all you lot are sitting for years waiting for your season 2, how about I finish this entire series instead and get the closure that I need, right?
That's what.
And that's exactly what happened again with like Demon Slayer. I was like, that was, you know, for me, but you know, it was absolutely, it was one of the greats. Like by the time I finished that first season, I was like, this series is gonna be big.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna go so. It's gonna do so
How
well.
old is it?
Oh,
Something tells me it's not like a brand new manga that got.
2017.
Yeah.
2016,
So it's
2017,
earned
I think,
it's
something
earned
like
its
that.
anime. It's definitely earned its anime.
Oh yeah, man,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I'm not even sure when it finished. I'm not even sure when it finished because I'm sure that when I started reading it, I'm sure it had already been about 6 months by the time it had finished.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I remember seeing on the internet, just
Sorry,
looking for
didn't
stuff
even know
about
it.
it.
Oh, yeah.
It's had DLC packs in a Monster Hunter game in Japan.
Is it really?
Yeah, where you
Oh,
can play
what?
as like Tanjiro. He's got the box on. You can play as Nezuko and everything like that. Yeah.
I have all the best stuff, you know.
And also, yeah, I know. There's all
No,
this.
but-
So it seemed to be
that.
like quite popular. This is what I'm.
It's big over there, man.
Yeah, it's been
Like,
quite popular
yeah.
a while. So
I mean, think how much like sort of history is in that anime as well for them.
yeah.
You know, the samurai style, the Oni
demons,
and
the
whatnot,
Oni
the
and that,
demons. There's so much like traditional Japanese, and obviously the time period it's set in.
Yeah, as
There's
well,
fair,
so
actually.
much
it's probably-
traditional
remember that-
Japanese in that anime. How could you not?
Sent
Like,
you that
That's fair.
video to watch.
probably why I love it so much.
That Naruto one where it looks at the real life inspirations of Naruto. I didn't know there was so much actual,
so much
like,
real world influence went
Yeah,
into Naruto
But
itself.
because obviously we're not of the culture, we're never
just
even
don't
going
know.
to realise there's anything there. We just think it's just
Even the simple symbolisms like the
Yeah.
swirl and stuff, like
Yeah.
right down to the
Yeah.
most basic of
the
symbolism.
legendary Sunning. They were all like, one of them was like a toad guy. Like they were literally
Actually
a three
based on,
gods
like, yeah.
called the Sunning, and they were one of them was a
Insane.
slug, one of them was a snake, one of them was a frog. Like,
Amazing.
why?
It's insane,
Yeah.
the research that goes into it and like where these things come from, and obviously so
You've
many
got to take influence of it,
influences
yeah.
that we're never going to relate to.
No.
So many influences that we don't grow up with. We have such different culture and such such different like to us like pretty boring.
Yeah.
Even though obviously I appreciate it's not.
I mean,
but,
to other people, it might seem exciting. British Empire. and that.
that's what
Like,
it tends
British
to be the
Empire.
case.
We like
It's
to
like,
keep that
know,
quiet, if you don't mind. We
don't
don't
talk about
want to
that,
talk about
right?
that. No,
it's
no,
like
no.
when someone's got a bag of sweets. When they're not yours, they taste better,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Well, not yours, they're
Very
better.
true.
Do you know what I mean?
Demon Slayer feels like it's got a lot of that going off that we're not quite even able to appreciate, which only speaks to how good it must fucking
And
be.
again, like we're saying, the music, that's all there. Like the
Yeah,
traditional
yeah.
style of like music, like, twisted into this sort of fusion of like, the sort of newer style. And it's just, it really does encapsulate that old school Japanese vibe. It really does.
So to surmise, like, is it worth a watch?
Oh, it's definitely worth a watch.
Yeah?
So get it
Worth
watched.
a pre-order. Let me
Yeah,
tell you now,
yes,
like,
definitely.
it's worth
Get on
a
it.
pre-order Blu-ray at
If you're
least.
able to watch anime like I am a bit, where you don't really fully understand the whole world of this anime, you just want to watch something for a spectacle, it's worth a watch. But if you watch season 1 and then Mugen Train, even if you don't fully get bitten by season 1, just get onto Mugen Train, because that is the end of Mugen Train is more of what the entirety of Demon Slayer is about.
It's about,
So just give it that season 1 and the movie before you completely cast it off.
Yeah, definitely. Make sure, if you've given the first series a go and you're thinking, it was all right, but film's there, just get it done. See it through. Seriously, it's well worth seeing it through. Well worth seeing it through. But guys, we're leaving it there.
Yeah, it's
Sounds
a
like a
good
good point to finish it.
It has been a pleasure as always. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. I have been PT64.
I've been Clockwork Nerd.
I have been that guy.
We will catch you on the next one.
Peace. Oh, I synchronicity.
Oh.